My name is Tom Wyatt, and I work for Kettering University in Flint, Michigan. I think it was 2014. I started working with Kurt when he was assisting with parking day projects in downtown Flint, and I was working for Habitat for Humanity at the time. And so they were providing some design services for creating these little parklets in the parking spaces. So recently we've been working on some kind of conceptualization of development of housing and commercial structures in neighborhoods in the University Avenue corridor, areas where there's not a lot of housing density, and we're looking at how do we reintroduce housing and add commercial amenities. So Kurt was involved in that because we respect his views and kind of talking about how do we do things so that it matches with the history of the neighborhoods, the right urban fabric, and all those technical kind of details that architects look at. I think is something that was a little outside of our knowledge. We know what we want to see. We just don't know how the specifics work in that area. And I think you're really easy to work with. There's not a sense of sometimes you can work with people who are experts in their field, and they let you know that, and you don't feel like you get to kind of contribute to the type of product that you're hoping is created. And I think there's a sensitivity to what we, as I guess you'd call us, the client or the community partner is looking for, and how do we kind of take our ideas and refine them through your expertise to come up with something that's really interesting and creates value in the community. I don't know a lot of architects locally, but those that I am familiar with don't have a background in terms of new urbanism, and it's more about kind of using their talent and expertise to create a product, but kind of the understanding of the community and kind of the nuances that come into play with specific neighborhoods or parts of the city. I think that is important. There are architects who are working in Flint who have created products that I think are kind of they would work well in other environments like suburbia, and I think that there's a place for those types of developments, and it's not always in the urban environment. And so I think that your firm is very sensitive to what fits where. I would definitely recommend your firm. I think that you're very easy to work with. There were no gaps in communication. You send an email out or make a phone call, and you hear back, pretty quickly, within reason. And there's always an enthusiasm in terms of what we're working on or the opportunities. Well, this doesn't really relate to my project, but there was a time that we were working together, and you were talking about how you had to go before, I think it was Planning Commission or City Council, and I did not know that architects did that. I thought that it was usually the developer or the owner of the property who was it was up to them to tackle those things. And so I thought that's really cool, because I think that's important. There have been times where I've been in situations where I've been asked technical questions that are outside of my expertise, things in the realm of architecture or other subjects, and it would have been beneficial to have somebody at my side to help answer those questions. Yeah, I think there were a number of times where I got emails from Kurt about interesting ideas or concepts that he had found in other parts of the country, in terms of design and neighborhood development, that as somebody who's interested in that, I found interesting, but I don't know how common it is for a firm to kind of like seek out and kind of engage in that in continuous improvement, and looking for innovative or new ways, to do things in communities. So often you find people that it's like once they kind of perfect their craft or they feel like they have, then they're kind of almost like a manufacturing line. They just kind of put out what they put out, and if that's not your thing, then you find someone else. And so I appreciate that. I would say somewhere between an 8 and a 9, and I say that because I think we're continuing that partnership, and so and it just keeps getting better. And so I think I don't want to say we've arrived at the peak condition. I feel like we're moving together down that path.